Well, good evening and welcome members, officers and those members of the public both here at the meeting and those joining us virtually. I'll take apologies for absence first, please, Shelby.
Thank you, Chair. Apologies for absence have been received from Councillor Whitaker, Councillor Gibson, Councillor Harding, and Councillor Dart. Apologies have also been received from Councillor Newton, who is going to be late.
Thank you.
Chair,
Excuse me.
just Councillor Ford as well.
Thank you.
Councillor Ward.
Can you get Councillor Ford added? Councillor Kinsley? And Councillor Johns. Okay, I've agreed to move the agenda around slightly to bring item 9 up on the agenda, as we have Paul Cole, the chair of the Torridge Place Board, with us tonight. Therefore, we will do declarations of interest first of all, and then item 9. So, declarations of interest, well, you all know the score there. If there are any items that you feel that you need to declare, please do so by the items being discussed. So, I'm going to ask the Chief Exec to start the ball rolling with his report, and then hand over, I believe, to Paul Cole.
Thanks, Chair. So I'll make a start. Then Paul, the Chair of our Place Board, will add some comments, and then the Leader of the Council, Councillor James, will brush up at the end. So what I thought I'd start with, obviously, really exciting news to give you all this evening. So I'm just going to touch on a bit of the background, part of the history, and where these projects and how they've evolved. So members will recall back in the spring of 2023, now almost 2 years ago, the then government announced the intention to form what was called a Levelling Up Partnership with Torridge. And when I say Torridge, that's with Torridge as the area, the place, rather than just Torridge District Council. It took a number of months before any of the details around how that partnership would form, the scope, etc., would, and the timetable for that. So in the October of 2023, a meeting was convened with Minister Jacob Young, attended by Councillor James, our MP, myself, to try and push forward Torridge's Levelling Up Partnership, because we were eager to get underway, eager for our communities, our residents, to get the interventions needed to bring and boost the area. That proved impossible at the time. There wasn't sufficient capacity within the government department to push ahead on an earlier time frame for our partnership. So the launch was announced to take place from July of 2024. And in December of 2023, in order to put some of the frameworks in place, you, full council, approved the establishment of the Torridge Place Board. And that Place Board, as you will know, is made up of a cross-sector board of representatives representing business, leisure, voluntary sector, education, so a broad spectrum of individuals on that board, as well as a coverage across the Torridge district area. The board had its first meeting in February of 24 and embarked on a journey to develop what is now known to be the Torridge Place story. And it's that place story which is part of the building blocks for the involvement of the projects you'll see in your report this evening. Part of that journey to develop the place story involved a range of meetings with stakeholders, with you, the council. A workshop was arranged and attended by many councillors to start to develop the interventions and ideas needed to improve Torridge. The Place Board itself had significant input to the development of that place story, as well as a range of stakeholders across the Torridge area. In April of 2024, the department, Levelling Up Homes and Communities, as it was known in the previous government, visited Torridge and did what was termed a deep dive. Spent time with us, with the area, with the place board, with a range of stakeholders, looking at all the data that makes Torridge great, but equally some of the barriers and some of the opportunities that would improve Torridge. As we all know, on the 23rd of May 24, a general election was called, which unfortunately for us stopped and called a halt to all the work that was being done in developing the Levelling Up Partnership. The election, as we know, took place in July of last year, the 4th of July 2024. Following the election, we made contact with the government to emphasise the need for the Levelling Up Partnership to continue. At that point, as you will all recall, there was a pending government spending review and budget which took place in October 2024. So until that took place, the government was unable to announce the continuance of the Torridge Levelling Up Partnership. November of 2024, what was now being renamed as the Torridge Community Regeneration Partnership was confirmed, renamed, but still within the government's plans for delivery. At that point, members or officials from the Ministry of Homes, Housing, Communities and Local Government met with us, met with stakeholders, met with the place board and requested a lot more information around some of the projects that they were going to propose to the ministerial team for Torridge and its area. So January and February of this year, they continued the work, continued working through the government systems and processes to ensure sign-off and to ensure the projects that were being proposed by officials met with the new government's terminology around a mission-based approach. So we're pleased to announce that over the weekend, the government has been able to announce our partnership and the projects that you see in the report before you this evening. Unfortunately, we were tied for time and tied with the embargo that the government put in place, which is why your report only came out to you today. So apologies for that, but that's the way it is, and that was subject to government's embargo. So you'll see a list of projects in front of you. As I said, evolved through the process through the Torridge Place Board, the approval of the Torridge Place Story, the approval of other strategic documents that have come before you at full council, the North Devon and Torridge Economic Strategy, the Northern Devon Maritime and Green Energy Growth Vision, as well as the Torridge Strategic Plan. You'll see there's quite a wide breadth of projects from housing, health, but principally, as you'd expect with the government's current missions, set quite clearly around economic growth and a skills agenda. You'll also see that the projects cover all of Torridge, not just a single area, and we're pleased with that approach. You will recall when I've reported to you previously the very tight deadlines that were being imposed for delivery of these projects, and that was originally the 31st of March 2025, which clearly is only a couple of weeks away. We've pressed the government many times, and through negotiation and support from our regional MHCLG rep, Natalie Nolan, have been able to convince officials and convince ministers that we need an extended time frame. So the time frame currently for our funding agreement runs until the 31st of March 2027. Whilst being 2 years away, still a significant amount to be delivered and achieved in that time. But we started setting up plans, setting in place resource plans and officer plans to get that work done. We reported to the Place Board confidentially on Friday, as did we with group leaders on Thursday of last week. So we are currently putting everything in place to deliver on all of these projects. There is a single recommendation in the report, and that's simply to add the £20,070,000 to the council's capital programme as is required, as Torridge is the accountable body for delivery of the programme, albeit 6 out of the 12 projects you'll see on the list there before you tonight will be delivered by external partners through grant funding arrangements. Chair, I'll hand over to Paul to say a few words.
Thanks, Steve, and I'm grateful, Chair, for the opportunity to speak tonight, and I'm grateful to you all for allowing me to go on a little bit early. Thank you very much. Firstly, I'd like to congratulate Torridge for a superb piece of work in getting this funding over the line against a very difficult backdrop of a change of government, plus devolution, local government review. And of course, it's not the first win that you've had. We can look back to the £16 million or thereabouts for the Appledore Clean Maritime Innovation Centre. So I truly believe Steve, Sean, Chris and others as a team are punching well above their weight. It's a fantastic result today. I would like to think it is the end of the beginning. In other words, we have the funding, it's confirmed, the Minister has selected the projects. But as Steve has indicated, there's a good deal of work to be done to hit the deadlines that are needed as set by government. So I certainly hope that I can continue to play a role in working with the board. It has been a privilege to do so. And let's hope this will go on to create many, many jobs for the good people of Torridge and offer new skills opportunities. We've seen the breadth of opportunity across Torridge through this programme, and we've also covered both business, culture and environment. So hopefully there is something in there, if not for everyone, certainly for most. I look forward to working with the team in the future and hopefully to even greater success as these projects get delivered. Thank you.
Thank you, Paul. Councillor James, would you like to sum up, would you?
Thank you, Chair. Just before I move the recommendations, could I just express my thanks to our senior officers for the hard work they've done. But I know how it's been. I'd also like to thank Paul for the work he's done as chairman of the board. I think we can look back and think this is a tremendous success for Torridge. There will always be questions, but the agenda has been set by the minister, and we're just glad to have the money to actually improve. But what we should be looking at is what's good for our communities, and not just patting ourselves on the back, but say, is it good for our communities? Does it offer a chance for economic growth, better housing, and stuff like that? So once again, thank you, Paul, and Steve, and Sean, Stacey, and the others that have been involved. So on that note, I'd just like to recommend that the £20,070,000, the government funding for Torridge Community Regeneration Partnership is added to the council's capital. Yes, the council's capital programme. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor James. You want to second that, Councillor Banter, do you?
No, I've got a question.
Oh, sorry. Yes, please.
Thank you, Chair. Right, I just want some clarification on some of the content of this report, particularly the page 4 is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 paragraphs. It doesn't make much sense to me. This is the Appledore Clean Marine. What exactly does that mean? An additional injection of funding will relive to ensure the most. What does that mean? Is it supposed to be rebuy or is it supposed to be relieve? What does that word mean in the context of that paragraph? Okay, I mean, it doesn't make sense. This additional injection of funding will relive to ensure the most impactful innovation centre is delivered. What does that mean?
Councillor Brennan, is to relieve the pressure on the
So
scheme, so it's just it's a spelling.
relieve.
Yeah.
Is that right?
Yes.
RELIEVE. That word. Right, okay, thank you. The second question is about Appledore Shipyard. That's recently been taken over by a Spanish company, hasn't it? I think. So what's happening to the workforce there? Are we going to continue to have our own workforce, British workforce there, and will they benefit from the levelling up any grant funding that accrues? Or will there be, do we know what's happening there in terms of local employment?
I don't think we did at this particular moment, if this chief exec wants to reply to that, but clearly it doesn't form part of this brief here, does it? But would you like to?
Chair, that's exactly as to
Yeah.
say, it's not part of this report.
Right, well, it Appledore Shipyard, it says,
No, it doesn't, no mention of the shipyard there.
in the report, really.
Chair, the only mention of the shipyard in the report is that Levantia have taken over the shipyard. The actual funding is nothing to do with the shipyard.
Right, so that's good, because it doesn't look like that from this
No.
report, actually, it looks as if it's included in it. And the final thing was the Bideford Hospital funding. Good to see it's getting that.
Absolutely.
But as I'm sure Councillor Hudson knows, with the schematic health and wellbeing groups, there's been a lot of discussion about dentistry and the lack of it in this community. In fact, people have to wait 2 years just for a checkup. And you saw, I'm sure you all saw the article in the journal about how appallingly bad our children's teeth are, because children aren't even getting what should be their free dental treatment in our community. And yet there's no mention in here of anything specific about the way the health centre is going to be turned into this community hub. There's no mention, despite the fact that some of us have gone on about it quite a bit, that we need to include dentistry as a priority in any kind of community regeneration for college in general.
I'm sure that detail will come out in the fullness of time when, when these plans, come to fruition. And no doubt, Councillor Brenton, you will, be able to have your input into that.
I hope so, Chair.
Absolutely.
This
Yeah.
is going on a long time.
Yeah.
And, there's no actual specific concrete commitment to dentistry for Torridge in any of these reports.
I'll just let the chief-
Endless conversations in the schematic health and wellbeing group.
Just let the chief exec reply to that.
Thank you, Chair. And as the leader stressed when he summed up earlier, these are the projects which have been proposed by the government. They're not Torridge projects. So there isn't any mention of dentistry because that hasn't been proposed as a point of project delivery by the government.
Councillor Tom, Councillor Tom, Michelle, your hand up, I believe, yeah.
Thank you, Chair. Well, first of all, obviously, this is very good news and, congratulations to everyone who's helped make it happen. I just wanted a little bit of clarity, if I could, on Cleve Wood. It says development of site for residential purposes. What does that actually mean? What's this money going into?
Councillor Thomas, as members will know, we own a parcel of land over at Cleve Wood, and the intention is, as it says in the report, to bring forward that site for residential use. The detail of that will come at a later stage, so we'll work with Homes England and any other partners to ensure that site is brought forward, as members have expressed housing as a high priority for this council. So the intricate details are not there yet.
Just further to that, sorry. I mean, obviously, more housing is going to be also welcome. The issue came up during the planning debate over the Oscar Centre, that the Environment Agency had regraded the flood risk for that land. And we were told that a big chunk of it was actually not going to be suitable for building on because of the flood risk. Is that going to be an issue?
So, yeah, Councillor Thomas, yes, you're correct. I mean, there's a section of the site, and we've always known it, that it just got larger in the last flood risk assessment, is in flood zone 3A. Part of this funding will enable us to challenge that assessment, to have it reassessed. But ultimately we'll design a scheme, and it will come through with the land that's developable on the site.
Councillor Back, first of all.
Thank you, Chair, and great news, as I said in my email this afternoon. I just wondered within the current staff complement whether we have the resources, the capacity to take these larger projects forward. A lot of work's already been done, the groundwork, but hence it will mean a lot of work. I just wondered how that's going to be addressed, managed. Thank you.
Chair, that's a piece of work we're currently looking at. It's not within our current staff resources, as members will recall from the peer review we had last year. So we are looking at how we will resource this, and there will be some external input.
Thank you.
Bringing that detail forward.
I did see some hands up. Yes, Councillor Tinsley, yeah.
I'd like to second the motion. I think it's fantastic.
Sorry, already been seconded, but thank you for that.
Okay. Yeah, my question was similar to Councillor Back's about the staff resource to be able to deliver it. And I saw in the press release that there was some money going into the revenue account. Was that for staff delivery?
The revenue resource that comes with it is a small sum, it's 250,000, which sounds a lot, but doesn't go far in resourcing projects of this nature. But equally, that money was for kind of setting up governance arrangements, reporting arrangements, etc., as well as supporting some of our partners to help them deliver their projects. So when you spread that across the programme, it doesn't go very far. But as I said, we're building up that resource plan right now. We've got some staff already in place, some external resources that we use, but we're just going through a process of identifying exactly what we need for each of the projects, and then we'll pull our plan together.
Thank you.
Councillor Hames.
Yeah, thanks very much. Congratulations on this very exciting programme here. Just to comment that when we were presented with this at group leaders last week, there was quite a bit more information really, and perhaps we wouldn't have had these questions if we'd had a bit more information, particularly on the hospital, where I think there was sort of a bit more detail. So I hope that people can actually find out that detail if they wish to by further inquiries with officers.
Yeah, I'm sure. Clearly, all of this was top secret, I suppose, until what time is it? Until 1 minute past midnight. So obviously, not a lot of detail could be shared then.
I just wanted to highlight how pleased we are that the Globe Hotel was included on that list. Quite often Torrington feels forgotten, so it was really good to see. It was really good to see that it reached quite a wide area of the district and not just focused on Bideford, which is how we sometimes feel. So it was really good to see that spread and reaching lots of people. I think it'll be a great project for Great Torrington.
I don't think Torrington could ever be overlooked with you. Okay, well, it's been proposed and it's been seconded by Councillor Smith that we that is recommended that full council approve that the 20,070,000 of government funding for the Torridge Community Regeneration Partnership is added to the council's capital programme. And have a show of hands, all in support, please.
Unanimous, Chair.
Well, we're very disappointed that there's anything other. Thank you for that. Okay, right, we'll move swiftly on into the next agenda item, which is agenda item 2. So we've got three separate sets of minutes to go through, and the first one is the September the 9th, 24 minutes, which, as I did explain some time ago, these were omitted. It was an error on the Tom's team. I'll not mention any names, Tom, but apologies were given for the error, but they're here tonight for you to consider. Councillor
Yeah,
Bennett?
sure. I did warn you that I would ask the question before the meeting, and you stole my thunder a bit by me telling you what I was going to say before
Well,
the meeting started.
I did actually say that at the previous meeting, that it was an error on behalf of
I
staff.
appreciate
Yeah.
so, but it seems like now it's just 5 days short of 6 months of the meeting took place, and a lot of us can't remember what happened at the time. Can't remember what happened yesterday sometimes, quite frankly. The situation is such that there will be something that will come up now in the minutes that is time sensitive,
Okay.
and I think is caused distress to Norwich. So I'll come to that in a minute when you get to that point, sir.
Thank you. Okay, well, I'll run through them on the first page. So page 1, page 2, page 3, page 4, page 5.
Yeah.
Mr. Thomas?
Just on the Torridge Corporate Peer Challenge, at the bottom of that section, the resolution, the second item, doesn't actually make sense if you read it. The group leader are those appointed to the compromise, the working group. That's what I was meant to say, but it doesn't actually make sense.
Join the club.
Well, clearly there's a typo there and we'll get that
Yes.
corrected. Thank you. And then it was page 7, I believe. And then page 8.
Yes, Chair.
Councillor Bennett?
Yeah, minute 315, pension credit, my favourite hobby, unfortunately. I did say at the time there were 800 with pension credit. I want to thank Stacey for, our head of legal, for a response she gave to me after the meeting. But the focus is always on the household support fund and that area, and those are one-off payments for pensioners. We have roughly 800 pensioners in Torridge who would qualify for pension credit if they applied for it. They have now lost their winter fuel payment. What I fear for the future is that they will now use a universal health support as well, if they don't apply for pension credit into the future. And it was time sensitive because people could backdate these things to get the winter fuel payment if they claimed in time. And I want to record it in the minutes that I did stress the need that people entitled themselves to pension credit because it passported to other benefits. And that's what I wanted to record, because I think we do odd pots here and odd pots there, but it was the pension credit entitlement and the passporting benefits that are so important to pensioners. And we do have quite a number of households in that situation. So I would like it recorded that I think at that meeting, say that it was important to claim pension credit.
Thank you.
Thank you, councillor Pennington, for raising it. And you're quite right, it was time sensitive, and we worked very closely with the DWP, and I'm sure members would have seen the many communications that we put out alongside the Department for Work and Pensions. So we did all we can to try and get the message out to as many people as we possibly could.
Thank you very much, Chair. Thank you, Chair.
Okay, well, sorry, page 10, there's no page 10, so.
Yeah.
Councillor Thomas?
So I just, with the reference to the motion that I tabled at that meeting, which was, 5+ months ago, I think. The chief exec advised members that given the scale of the work required, a further report to full council would be required. And I'm just wondering what's happened. I mean, I realise we've got local government reviews been strong enough since then, but have we got any timetable, any update?
Chief exec, would like to answer that one?
And that report was brought back to full council in December. Members who recall Stacey presenting that report to you.
Indeed.
And the outcome of that meeting, and we'll get to the minutes, was that it be deferred, subject to members having an informal meeting and reporting back. We haven't yet had any report back from members of that informal session.
Okay, well, someone have a proposal to minutes? Councillor Locke, seconded by,
A second.
yeah, Councillor Bennett, all in favour? And against? Abstentions?
26, 4 and 4 abstentions, Chair.
Thank you, Tom. Okay, the next set of minutes are the 2nd of December 24. I'll get on through them page at a time, so we'll start on page 1. Page 2. Page 3. Page 4. Page 5. Page 6. Page 7. Page 8. Page 9. On page 10. So no comments, I'll propose them from the chair. Seconded by Councillor James. All in support, please show. Against? Any abstentions?
That's 26, 4 and 4 abstentions.
Okay. And the next set of minutes is Thursday, the 9th of January. On page 1. Page 2. Page 3. On page 4. Mr. Smith proposed them. Councillor James seconded. All in support, please show. And against? Abstentions?
Twenty-three, 4 and 7 abstentions, Chair.
Thank you, Tom. Moving on then to item 3 on the agenda, there are no public speakers. Item 5, agreement between items part 1 and 2. There are no part 2 items this evening. We did item 4, that was declarations of interest. I did that before we started the meeting. Item 6, consider correspondence or business brought forward by the chair. I've only got one thing to remind members that on Thursday there was a member briefing on devolution and the housing strategy. So it's it's obviously a very important meeting. So the more of you that can be present, the better. Thank you. Okay, moving on to item 7, Devon and Torbay County Combined Authority, Team Devon Joint Committee and Advisory Boards, pages 28 to 36. And Stephen Jack is going to present the report.
Thanks, Chair. So quite a short report. So following the establishment of the Devon and Torbay County Combined Authority, part of the process is to set up a number of advisory boards supporting the board of the Combined Authority. The Team Devon Joint Committee, the first one. So Team Devon, as members will know, have been meeting for a number of years now on a relatively informal basis. Probably during the pandemic, it came to its fore with all district councils along with the county council meeting together regularly to kind of form proposals and responses to things that happened during the pandemic. We've continued to meet on a monthly basis, and it's now felt the time has come with the establishment of the County Combined Authority that body should be set up on a more formal basis. So the establishment of the joint committee. As well as that, as part of the role of the combined authorities is looking at wider strategic issues across the Devon and Torbay area. So there's been a number of advisory boards established, one being a housing advisory board, which the leader of the council previously sat on the housing task force. So the housing task force has concluded its work, in essence, in producing the paper that was reported to you recently on housing across Devon and many issues. So now it's felt that the housing advisory board be set up, and the recommendation in the papers that the lead member for housing is appointed to that board. As well as that, there's a number of committees, an audit committee, a scrutiny committee, because as you would expect under the governance arrangements for the combined authority, it makes sense and it's proper to have scrutiny and audit arrangements in place. So the leader of the council, Councillor Ken James, is formally your representative on the Devon Districts Forum, which is the board made up of Devon district leaders. And Councillor James has been appointed by that body to be the representative on the audit committee. Chair, happy to answer any questions, but the recommendations are that the leader of the council is the Torridge District Council member of the Team Devon Joint Committee, a member to be appointed to the Devon and Torbay CCA Housing Advisory Board, and to note the leader of the council has already been appointed by the Devon District Forum to sit on the Devon and Torbay Combined Authority Audit Committee. I think Councillor James wants to say a few words.
Thank you, Chair. Thank you, Chief Exec. You will see that I was one of the founder members of actually the Housing Task Force. It was run by the districts. You've seen the reports that come forward. At the moment, I was moved on to the CCA Housing Task Force, but I've since been asked to serve on the Audit Committee, and therefore I've looked at the makeup of the Housing Committee, which consists of lead members for housing and some lead district council leaders. And so I've decided not to pursue staying on there, but to ask Councillor Hodgson to replace me on the Housing Task Force on the CA, well, what will be the CCA, because of her vast knowledge of housing. So I'd like to move the recommendations that I have been appointed, and I hope you'll accept that as it's happened, and also to propose that Councillor Hodgson replaces me on the Housing Committee.
Mr. Branton? Thank you. Councillor Piper, do you get your hand up?
Yes, the second recommendations and
Okay,
to cover both, yeah.
it's been proposed and seconded then. Can we please have a show of support, please?
It's unanimous, Chair.
Thank you. Moving swiftly on, item 8, the annual report, pages 37 to 60, and to receive a report from the leader and the chief executive.
Chair, thanks. I'm not sure how I ended up with all the reports on tonight's agenda, but that's the way it is sometimes. I think last time it was all finance. Chair, I guess ordinarily, had we not brought forward for obvious reasons the Community Regeneration Partnership, it would have been ideal to have the annual report in advance of that, to showcase all the great work that Torridge has done. This looks back at the year 2023-24 and just highlights some of the major things that Torridge has done. I don't intend going through that detail. It's something we've historically done, but I think we've probably missed last year. So we thought it's important for councillors, for our communities, for our residents to see in a consolidated way all the things that have been achieved by the council. The recommendations is just to note that report. I didn't know. I think the leader of the council just wanted to say a few words first.
I'd just like to say I look forward to when we actually improve the order, the vocals in this building, because there's a wire here just where I sit. And it's debatable whether I'm gonna last the night, getting up and going, but anyway. I'd just like to move that we note this report. It does show what we've done over 23-24. We have been a very progressive moving forward council, and that's down to everybody. It's not down to any individuals. And I think when we reflect on all the good news we've heard tonight, is just the challenge of being a successful small district council that is certainly making a name for ourselves within the area, within the district. So I thank you all, and particularly the SMT staff and all the operational staff that have been making this happen. And as a council, we should be motivated. So just thank you very much, all of you. Councillor Hodgson?
Got to respond from the small authority, which I get teased about and probably will be etched on my final statement. I'd like to congratulate the team that have actually put this document together, because I really found it a good read. And I think we said we wanted to communicate in a more clear and transparent way, and I think this document really does achieve that. And please pass our congratulations on to those who worked on it. Thank you.
Okay, moving on, we've already done item 9, so item 10 to answer questions under procedure rule A9, we have none. Item 11 petitions, there are no petitions. Item 12, we have one notice of motion from Councillor Thomas. Thank you.
Thank you, Chair. Whereas I'm bringing this back again from about 7 or 8 months back, but things have moved on. Last week, our Prime Minister was in the United States, and he quipped that taking out a chainsaw isn't quite my style. He was obviously referring to Elon Musk's antics, but I don't think he's quite telling the truth, because Labour's taken a bit of a chainsaw to our local councils, and they're able to force it through because of the size of their majority. Why? First past the post. Just to remind you, the general election last year, turnout was 59.4%. Labour got 9.7 million votes, only 33.7% of all the votes cast, yet they got 412 seats. Conservatives, 6.8 million votes, only 121 seats. Reform got 4.1 million votes, but only 5 seats. Greens got 1.9 million votes, 6.7. I think you see where I'm going with this. We have a system that doesn't really work. Yeah, the Lib Dems, well, I think you did quite well this time round. I think previously you haven't done quite so well. So yeah, we need stability in government, we need stability in councils. But is it really wise that one party should get such a huge majority, particularly when barely 1 in 5 of voters actually supported them? I just want to say we need proportional representation, and if we really believe in democracy, we should apply the same principles to local as well as national elections. But I'd like to ask for a recorded vote on this, please, and I'd also ask all members to support this, and maybe send a message to the government that we need to change the electoral system.
Councillor Brenton, were you wanted to speak, or were you seconding this motion?
I'm not going to second.
All right. Oh, sorry.
Thank you.
Councillor Brenton, I'm sorry, but Councillor Thomas has put his motion forward. There's not really a lot of discussion on this, is there? So
I think you have the right to allow a discussion.
well, it
Chair.
hasn't been seconded yet.
Can I second it?
Councillor Craig has seconded it. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. We can have a brief discussion.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yes, well, I can support this insofar as the first item is about local government. In another forum, we have supported PR, because I think the local government reorganisation is an opportunity for us to actually look at PR in to represent a broad spectrum of local government. I do think that that's the type of road. As for the general election, though, slightly different. Come on, let's have a look at places like Israel, for example. And the trouble they're going to have in Germany forming a government, and other places where they have a form of PR. Sometimes you careful what you wish for. I mean, obviously, I'm crestfallen with the electoral system when the Tories get in. You know, I just can't help myself on that one. However, you know, the political circle moves, doesn't it? And it all comes around eventually, if God willing. So, on that respect, you know, sorry, you know, the government aren't going to listen to this, but I do think if the local bit will be taken up, there is a swell in, I think, more than our political party, to actually have a look at local government and how that could be delivered better with a better representation. Because you can see what's happening now with what's proposed for Devon, the horse trading that's going on. I mean, let's be honest about it. We, you know, our party are looking to think, well, hang on a minute, we got to be a bit careful here. We might don't control Plymouth and Exeter and the urban areas, but there's a sway to the rural bit. Do we really want a system whereby the rural ones will dominate or vice versa? I don't know. I do think for the good of the county, though, we got to really consider how we can deliver the best for the county and at the same time allow everybody to have their say in it in some form or another. So we'll see what happens with that.
Thank you.
Well, as I say, I would amend that to delete the bit to do with the PR bit, section 2, which is for central government.
It's already been proposed and seconded.
All right.
The motion is as presented.
As presented, okay.
So, okay, it's been proposed and seconded. Oh, yeah, recorded vote you wanted. Sorry, yeah, you need 5 for recorded vote. There's clearly 5, so recorded vote will be there. So, when you're ready, Shelby, you call the names out.
Councillor Andrews? For. Councillor Back?
Against.
Councillor A Brenton? For. Councillor D Brenton?
4.
Councillor C Bright?
4.
Councillor L Bright? For. Councillor Bushby?
Against.
Councillor Cottle Hunking? For. Councillor Craigie?
For.
Councillor Elliott?
Against.
Councillor Gubb? Abstain. Councillor Hackett?
Against.
Councillor Haynes?
For.
Councillor Hawkins?
For.
Councillor Heppel?
For.
Councillor Hicks?
Against.
Councillor Hudson?
Against.
Councillor Inch?
Against.
Councillor James?
Against.
Councillor Leather?
For.
Councillor Lavelle? For. Councillor Locke?
Against.
Councillor Newton?
Again.
Councillor Pennington?
4.
Councillor Piper?
4.
Councillor Shepherd?
4.
Councillor Smith?
4.
Councillor Thomas?
4.
Councillor Tinsley? 4. Councillor Wheatley?
4.
It's 19 for, 10 against and 1 abstention, Chair.
Thank you. That motion is clearly carried. Well done, Treasurer Thomas. Letter will due to be sent. Okay, that concludes the meeting at 7:20. Thank you very much.